Yeah, we're in. Hello there, nerds and lovely folks, and welcome to session. I just typed this in. 33. 33. Session 33 of Fathoms Below.
Yes.
I am, of course, your DM of Doom, Son of Asgard, or World Tree Quests here on Twitch. And with me today is my lovely cast, who I'm switching around into their correct positions right now. We have, as I said, my lovely and beautiful cast. We have got Just Kyle. We have got Selkie Cove. We've got that one Warlock. We've got Madness Diamond 2.0. And we've got Lawless Aries Cosplay. Now, everybody's in the right positions. Look at their lovely faces. Aren't they all just beautiful? Aren't they phenomenal? I'm so gifted to have such a lovely and splendiferous cast. To misquote Wicked, none of you are disgustified. Do I have any news? Yes, I do. May 19th, 5:30 CST, here on our lovely World Tree. You should come along because you've been invited to attend the Academy for the Study of the Arcane, Divine and Occult. It's a phenomenal establishment, and there's definitely going to be some jokes made about plot holes in a certain wizarding schoolbook. We're going to make fun of a lot of the plot holes in that book. It's a mini campaign set in a magic school that I created, and I created it basically to make fun of Hogwarts. So if you want to do that and support the LGBTQIA community, specifically the T within that lovely collection of letters, you should come along and check it out because it's going to be great. It's going to be phenomenal, and the cast list is going to be dropped. I'm trying to do math. Tomorrow. I had to count quickly there. When's the 10th? The 10th is tomorrow. It's going to be dropped tomorrow on our Twitter page, so don't go anywhere except going to our social media pages, which are all at World Tree Quests. On that note, however, while I am attacked by the many different natural uses of my body trying to end this existence I have upon this spinning blue marble in this steaming cosmos of shit that is the universe, I'm going to pass over to my cast and say, guys, what the frickle fraggle rock happened last session?
I don't know.
I don't know. Never tried.
You can't nose me. I wasn't here.
Tom, you were last.
Damn it, all the hells. So, last we left this group of chaotic chuckle fucks, we arrived at Ariel's home to get some rest and met his neighbor. After some suspicions arose, we decided to go and figure out what the fuck this hag is all about, only to realize she do be in fact hagging it up. Some of the party got into a bit of a dance party and was just having the time of their lives. Not Ariel. Echo understood what sight is, and after significantly bonking those out of it, we decided to leave, and then really leave and not stick around to get a rest at Ariel's house. And so we made our way over to Reaver and Luce's house, home,
hideaway,
where they stay. And we finally met the legend themselves, Drift, who, after some words with Luce and a couple members of the party coming a bit closer to give their hellos, instinct and knee-jerk reaction happened where Drift lashed out a bit and hit Echo, to which Echo's blood might have caused some sort of reaction which awakened Drift to his previous life and revealed himself to be the actual legend, Adelan, the last hero of the Sea Elves, who's dead. And fucking shock to all of us, theories made canon. We decided to hunker down for the night until an old familiar NPC arrived that annoyed the shit out of us before, and is annoying the shit out of us again. A certain Grecian merfolk arrived saying that the silverfish wanted to talk and have a conversation, to which the party was having none of, and was done with all of the shit. And Reaver was like, hey, Feather, use the finger. And this Grecian merfolk was unceremoniously deadified. The body was gotten rid of. The lich started creeping its way back out. Words were said. Echo is avoiding most of the party. And we have hunkered down for, finally, a long rest. And that, my friends, is what the friggity fraggle fraggle rock fuck happened last time.
It is indeed. Thank you very much for that there. Our lovely, that one Warlock Tom there. Thank you very much for that. I would like to, at this particular moment in time, I know that before we go for the long rest, there are things that must be done by each party member and such. But first things first that I would like to do, before I come to Marisol for some details, I would like to go to Echo. You don't have to look so terrified. Echo, as was said in the recap, Echo has kind of maintained a little bit of a distance from certain people within this party. What's going through Echo's mind right now? Or, I don't know if the correct word is mind. What's going through Echo's being right now?
Oh boy. At this point, Echo is feeling a sense of betrayal. They're feeling a sense of hopelessness that goes with that, which then leads into anger, because anger is so much easier to deal with than any of that other messy stuff. And it's easier for them to keep their distance from people, to not let someone get in too close, because what if the betrayal turns physical? What if this is a slippery slope that the party leads down? What if Echo had entirely misjudged how they felt about them and what they are? And that is where Echo's at the moment.
Okay. Okay, given that information, where's my dice? That's not my dice, that's my pocket dice. That is equally as important, but not quite important enough for just now. What I need right now is the dice. Oh, these are the wrong dice.
At this time, I'm going to remind everyone, shitting yourself is a free action.
So is crying. So
yeah.
Echo.
Hi.
That familiar sensation of not understanding if it's telepathic or if it's just very subtly carried on the currents of the water, but you do hear a vaguely familiar voice, and it says, "They're not going to understand you, but I do. We do." And you recognise it as that thing that was created to hunt based on you, and was in fact created as like you are experiment 626, this is experiment 627. It's the next step up.
Echo's immediate instinct is to dart their perception around, see if they can find it.
Romia, what would technically you're trying to locate something, so that's going to be a survival check. Given your method of detection, I will give you the advantage on it.
Okay. The other thing that's unrelated to the scenario, but I do want to put out there for future interactions, Echo's passive perception is 18, Echo's passive insight is 18. And so for our lovely party members, if there's ever anything that at 18 would clock on y'all, just hand it up. It can be in PMs, just hand it on.
So yeah, survival check for me, please.
I rolled so shit. That's a 12.
With advantage?
With the other one was an 8.
Okay. Well, in that case, you're not able to detect them. Whether that's because they're not here, whether it's because they're out of your range, or whether that's because they've been given something that allows them to get past your form of perception, you're unaware. All you know is that within your little 60-foot bubble of near immaculate perception, you don't feel them anywhere in that. We have to be really specific. It's not like within your line of sight. Within your spherical ordinance of perception. Whoever can come up with the most ridiculous name and way to describe how Echo sees, we will send you a crisp high five.
I'll go to Gen Con. I'll give you a crisp high five.
I will actually high five a piece of paper, then outline my hand, and I will mail it to you. I will literally pay like £5 of postage to America just to send you a crisp, unfolded high five. That's the level of stupid we're willing to go to. Anyway.
As they're unable to perceive anything, they speak like quietly, but now everyone's gonna think they're fucking mumbling to themselves. They speak quietly, as quietly as they can with a chorus of voices behind them. Can you hear us?
We can. They say can almost as if it's like a question.
Where are you?
We are not where you are. We are elsewhere.
How can you hear us? How do you know where we are?
The next thing that they say comes through almost endearingly, almost adoringly, as they say, "We were built to find you. We were built to bring you."
Where do you want to bring us?
Home.
We shouldn't have asked.
You almost get the sensation of like if they were here, it would be that kind of like brows furrowed, head tilt, like questioning, as they say, "Why do you not want to come home?"
Home isn't good.
Home is kinder than any other place. Home they do not stare. They do not joke. They do not call us names. Home we are safe. Home we are not feared. Home they do not look at us like we are dangerous and like they cannot get close.
Then you're doing it wrong.
They said that they might have made you forget, so we will be understanding. We will find you. That, and the way they say that is almost reassuringly. Like, they're like, don't worry, we're going to find you.
When you find us, one of us will die.
That is not a possibility. We would never hurt you, and you cannot hurt us.
Everything can be hurt.
We will see you soon.
If Echo was being standoffish before, now they're downright snapping at people who, like, start getting a little too close.
Yay. Alrighty. At that point, Echo, a voice is going to come from behind you. You can feel the person approaching. They stop about, I'd say they stop a good, 15 feet away from you. Like, as if in, the party has heard that, Echo's a little bit kind of, so they're actively stopping a bit away. Pardon me. And you hear Feather's voice. Echo, are you alright? And this is where Echo ate the lich.
That is a poor reaction.
That'd be so great, though.
I'm not rolling well today, guys. I bowed so well.
Lucy's just like, how did you get back in the necklace? I tried to talk to Echo. It did not go well.
As Feather comes up and stops, and it's the second that Feather speaks, that Echo does a few things all at once. They turn, they get really low, and they open their mouth, which pushes their teeth out a little bit.
Okay.
Prime biting stance. A literal ankle biter at this point.
I'm gonna roll a saving throw for Feather. This was just to see if they react to it. They rolled fairly decently. A slight twitch in the mouth. You can't tell if it's like a smile or if it's like the beginning of a snarl. Echo's face, not Echo, Feather's face looks a wee bit, a wee bit grim, even at base setting right now. So it's because of that, it's a bit too hard to discern which facial expression it would be. But they don't seem phased by your reaction, and they don't even put their hands up anything. They just kind of, I'm going to take that as a no. I'm just going to stand right here, and I'm not going to come any closer. In fact, would you like me to step further back?
Five more feet.
They take a step back, they go back 5 more feet. Is this all right?
Echo will kind of settle up again. That's fine.
And they will sit down at that point, so like it will require them to make actual effort in order to get up and move closer to you, like that kind of thing. They sit down, and I wanted to make sure you were okay. That's all.
Why?
Well, because, and again, I understand if this is a completely one-way street. I consider you a friend, and generally, no, I'm no expert in social interactions and whatnot. Luce is definitely the leading party on that one as far as this partnership goes. But as far as I'm aware, friends are supposed to make sure that each other is okay. So I just wanted to make sure you were okay.
Are you a monster?
Yes. I am. I try my hardest not to be. Recently, the cracks have been getting a little wider. But yes,
No, I have nothing to say to you. You're a monster, but you don't want to be. Why would I talk with that?
At that point, they actively, and there's almost that derisive tint of the lich that comes into their voice as they chuckle at that. You think I don't want to be? Do you understand the power that I used to taste? You know that by embracing that power, all I would have to do is flex my hand and everything within a half a mile radius would die. I always want that. Always. But some things are more important. And despite accepting that I'm a monster, it does not mean I cannot strive to be something more than that. So no, you are wrong, Echo. I always want to be that. I always want to feel that. But I'd also like to be something more than that. Kyle, you had your hand raised?
It was just for the standard insight check between them, because if I'm hearing the Lich's voice, because I was currently, before session end, trying to chase Echo, and I had left you with Luce, now knowing that you're up, I'm like, oh, okay. So I want to check on that Lich comment on the insight, because I'm like, the idea of like the power and the thing.
He's not hiding it.
Is there revelry? Is there want to let it out again?
No. It's more like when Echo said why would I talk to you if you don't want to be a monster? And it was that kind of like, haha, oh you silly little thing. It was more of a little condescending lilt before Feather pulled the voice back.
Okay.
Before he reasserted control.
What's Feather's passive insight?
Not great.
Because I'm going to roll a sleight of hand here.
Okay, but once this is done, I do want to quickly jump back.
Oh, absolutely. It's just simply for that one thing that happened. I was like, I need to check
passive
something.
insight is 13.
11. What's my dex? Okay, I will send Echo the DM. Feather doesn't see it.
Okay. Echo your reaction to Feather's words. If any.
That's a very human thing of you to say. Which is not a problem. It's just out of our reach.
Well, I am saddened by that. But I will respect what you've asked. To want and to ask. To respect and to observe. Rather mortal traits. Think on it. And he stands up, but as he stands, he sits kind of like legs crossed, and it's that way. It's like as he stands, he rotates. It's almost like a dancer shift, so that he's facing away from you. If he turns and faces away from Echo, would he see Reaver?
Yes.
So he's doing a complete 180. Okay, so you would see Reaver, and he just looks at him. Can I pass?
Doesn't stop him at all. It's if you're staring at him, the eyes are almost trying to split.
Okay.
Like one I'd like checking in on you, but there's also checking in on Echo. Like the glow is very much on the rim of the helmet. And the hands are currently just by their sides.
Okay. He will walk past you and leave the conversation. At that point, we will go to Reaver and Echo.
Get Marisol first, by all means. Because you said you wanted to get Marisol. You wanted to do Echo first. Get Marisol. Fill them in.
Okay, cool. If you guys are cool with that, yeah, then cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump to Marisol. Now, Marisol, you as a player, you've been given the rundown of what went down. Obviously, Marisol was there for all this shenanigans. Based on what you've heard, and on Marisol's reactions to such, how's Marisol feeling about the situation and how it was handled? I mean, I'm taking into account everything. The investigation into what appeared to be into what we now was revealed to be a hag's house, the meeting of the other adventurers that were there, up to and including the Grecan merfolk appearing, telling them the silverfish wants to speak to them and isn't taking no for an answer, down to Feather just straight up merking this merfolk. How is Marisol's personage right now?
Marisol's personage might be a little stressed. There are a lot of moving parts right now that she is trying to parse out in her head the best way to handle them.
Mm-hmm.
And she is also going to be worried about Echo and Reaver and what's happening there, because trying to keep this group together and not killing each other is one of her top priorities. But I think, at least for that, she's going to let that one play out on its own for now, because they've always been good at talking to each other. But I think right now, Marisol's main priority is finding out what the silverfish wants. And figuring out if feed to Echo is going to be a new strategy across the board.
Okay. Marisol's also got a lot on the plate right now.
Yeah.
They've become captain again. They have this new title, which they haven't heard from the being that's given them this new title since it was bestowed upon them. And to top it all off, while it is improving, there is still little bits about this group of adventurers that, they didn't meet in a tavern. They didn't, rally to a call at the same time. They were kind of flung together by fate. So, Marisol, what I want to ask you is, with all of this bundled up inside Marisol's brain, what does Marisol want to do right now? And I will remind you, as Marisol has said, they're not all entirely sure if the code is going to be a thing that operates for them. So let's not say captain, let's say as the de facto leader of this party. What would Marisol like to do as my child has just announced himself to the world?
Well, hello there.
Say hello.
Hi.
Hi, Astrid.
Look, there's Uncle Kyle. Say hiya.
Hi.
Yeah, that's Uncle Kyle. Okay. Right, now we're going to say night night. Night.
Night.
Night night.
Say bye bye.
Oh my god.
Say blow kisses. Mwah. Okay, right, go to bed. Go to bed. Yes, that's a fan. Go to bed. Sorry about that. What would Marisol like to do?
No, don't apologize. That's great. I think there are two things that Marisol is gonna do. I think Marisol is gonna go pray to whoever will listen at this point, either one.
Oh, I love that you said either one, because I was like, whoever will listen, I was like, oh! You know not what you have wrought. No, but you said either one. Okay, so that's fine.
Yeah. And then I think she is gonna just do, like, check in with everyone as an individual. Just like, hey, what's going on in your head? Hey, what's going on in your head?
Okay. What do you say for your prayer? Then we'll get to the individual check-ins when everybody comes back together. So what's
I think
your
it'll
prayer?
To those who give me the gift of healing and those who give me the gift of vengeance, I want to humbly ask you in this time of turmoil and change what directions you would give to me and those I care about. They have asked me to lead, but I have never been a leader for anyone but myself. And I need more than my opinion on what is the best to do.
Roll me a D100.
Oh boy. Nine.
9? Oh lordy! Your prayer is answered. You feel a
Okay.
swelling in yourself, and for the next 24 hours, you're going to have advantage on persuasion and intimidation checks as the voice of Taito rattles through you and says there is a time to be quiet and a time to let the storm speak. There is a time to let wounds heal and a time to let your voice ring. Now, they need a leader. They do not need a nursemaid.
Damn, okay.
I was coming up with ideas for what the kind of undersea physical representations for them would be if they took on humanoid appearances, and I will confirm Taito is daddy. Taito looks like Poseidon if Poseidon was built like Thor. Like mythically accurate Thor, not Chris Hemsworth Thor. Taito got like that barrel body with the long flowing hair. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
So your prayer has been answered. How does Marisol feel about the prayer being answered so quickly?
I mean, nice to get that level of direction immediately. A little intimidating, you know, given the fact that now she's got to go. She's like, yes, they need someone to tell them what to do. Somebody needs to be like the direction and the hard yes, no, don't do this right now. And that's a little intimidating, but I think she can do this.
Okay. I look forward to hearing her do it. But now, I'm going to jump to Reaver and Echo, then I'm going to come to Luce and Ariel, and then we will work our way inwards from there. Alright? So, Reaver, Echo. Feather has just left with the departing words of what boiled down to essentially, yeah, you're right, that was a pretty human thing I did. So was asking for something. That's pretty human. You should think on that a bit. Deuces! And fucked off. If Feather ever says the word deuces, I swear to God, I'll kill the NPC.
Don't you dare.
Deuces does not sound right in a Scottish accent. Deuces. It sounds like we're saying, do you want juice? Juices? Anybody want juice? Like, Feather, Echo. Please, the stage is yours.
Given how I expect this to go, I'm going to take one step forward, and I'm guessing Echo's going to take a move back.
Hell yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They would have just moved a little while ago.
Yeah.
But no, now it's a move, and now there's a bit of a snap at you.
Are you reacting to me?
There's no response.
I'm going to look to see where Feather is.
Feather is currently walking towards the rest of the group. Looks like he's making a beeline for Marisol.
Okay. I'm going to take my blade out and try and draw a line in my head between where Feather is going to be and Echo and stab it in the ground. I'm then going to approach closer to Echo and see if Echo moves back.
They are moving.
Yep, cool. As expected.
There's another snap as well.
If you're going to bite me, fine. But I'm still going to be here, and I'm still going to help. You are very clearly angry at me, and I want to talk about it. If you don't, I'm not going to force it. But at the very least, you are bleeding. Please let me heal you. And I'm going to hold out a hand and then take one more step forward.
It's my worst roll yet.
How much damage am I taking?
$1 million.
I don't think Echo's letting you get close enough for a bite to be a problem.
Okay.
I rolled so low that there's not even a hesitation when they bolt. They don't bolt directly out, though. They bolt away, and as they get on the edge of like 55, 60 feet away from the group, they start curving.
Don't think they're gonna hear me, but I'm gonna mutter under my breath, "Fucking thanks, Celia." And I'm gonna slowly start walking towards.
I love that he thinks it's sailing.
Yeah, no, I'm aware.
I know.
I'm aware. Weaver's not.
That's right, everybody just blames the Lich.
In my case, yes, I am blaming the Lich.
He's just a nice young Lich over here trying to raise a family.
Alright, I'm gonna roll a second time here. A little better. How is Reaver kind of following?
One step at a time, and if they move, again a step. And just like slow the hand out. And if you move 3 times in a row, I'm simply going to call out, not caring about the area around too much, but like just so I know that you can hear it. I'm going to keep following. I promise to keep you safe. Can't do that if you're not in my sight. I will follow you till I forget everything.
Okay, cool. As we're playing this essential really bad game of tag, It takes a little while, but when Reaver does speak next, at first, there is this... When Reaver says I'm just going to keep following, there is this flash of annoyance, of frustration, and that gets flashed with full teeth as well. But when Reaver continues speaking, there's a pause, there's a hesitation, and they turn and they're looking out, away from the party, just out into the expanse of ocean. Before turning back to Reaver, holding out a hand and just going, "Stop."
I would have stopped when you turn away until you look back.
Cool.
Because I'm not going to come up behind.
Mm-hmm. Just stay there. We can... You sit.
We'll sit down.
How do we know we can trust you?
Because I gave you my word, and to my knowledge, I have not broken it. If I have in your eyes, explain to me, and I will see what has been done, and I will either give a correctance or an apology and a fix. If you're exuding I have betrayed you or hurt you somehow, please tell me.
It's become very apparent how some people, yourself included, view Feather.
Do you mean... Go ahead.
It was kind of impressive the way you talked about monsters and how okay it was. And it was even more impressive that I didn't pick up you were lying.
Watch it, Echo. I am not a liar. Make the claim, but don't call me a liar, please.
When Feather killed the merfolk, we saw what transpired. Feather did not make that call. And afterwards, after the monster had come in, after the monster had done its job, no one wanted it anymore, did they? You didn't. Luce didn't.
Let me explain my side, if you will let me. I think I see the problem.
What?
You know how Celia sees Reaver and Archie? I see Feather in Celia. Celia is a monster. Feather is a lich. They don't deserve that title. Monsters have pride. Monsters can work together. monsters can live and survive together. I didn't know when I asked for what I did that would be the result. Well, I knew the Grecan would die. I didn't know I would almost lose Celia. I need to have words with him about it. Not as a captain, for I am not that, but as a brother.
Insight check.
What do you want to know? Because you've literally called him a liar, and he's like, no, I'm being fucking honest from this entire point now.
What Echo is checking, and this is more of an in-character check. What Echo is checking is if Reaver's actually meaning what he's saying, or if it's a placation. Like, it's a half-truth.
Everything he's saying is 100% true. The only thing that would maybe be slightly hidden, but it will be hearable to you with body language, there's blame. Reaver is blaming himself for something. Which you can probably put the idea of the threat of the Lich being out.
Sure. Echo will take a moment before starting to slowly approach, but it's very tense. And if anything kind of makes a move in the nearby vicinity, there's like a jolt, and it's just like, they stop. Until they're probably within 10 feet, is how close they get.
Mm-hmm.
At least we can tell you mean it.
I am no liar, Echo. I am an idiot, though. I put people in danger. Sorry.
Scooch forward a little more and very tentatively kind of reach out.
Very slowly, the hand's gonna reach out.
And it's just like the barest touch that they'll allow. Echo's not worried about the Lich so much as... It got in our head. Originally, we were just... betrayed, is how we felt. Though... it's a rare occasion that we're proven wrong on that front, so... Thank you for that.
Bran, by your wording,
Yeah.
with the very light touch, am I able to use Lay on Hands? Or do I need to touch the affected area?
All that's really specified is that you have to touch them. So I would say, you know, somebody's arm could be broken, and if you touch just their fingertip or even their toe, then you heal damage. So I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm not going to do the whole your eyeballs hanging out your head, so I have to prod your eye hole with my finger. No, I'm not. I'm not going to say that. As long as you are making physical contact with the person you want to heal, Lay on Hands will work.
Cool. Then I'm going to pump 10 points of Lay on Hands into Echo to heal up the wound from Atalan.
Echo, you have 10 points of healing pumped into you.
Yay.
Woo! 10 points. Don't
Yeah,
spend
finally
it
back
all
up to
in.
full.
Don't spend it all in one fight now.
I probably will.
Fair. To reply to the betrayal point, I made the promise, and I'm going to keep it through. But I would like to make a request. Not a promise, but a request. Never call me a liar again. Never call me a traitor. If you believe I have done something like this, like right now earlier, please ask. My code may be about to die a horrible death, but it's still my beliefs. It's what I died for once, and will do so again.
We won't. We can't promise we'll talk all the time, but we can promise we won't make accusations.
That's fair. I know you've had a lot today. You've had an experience out of your own control.
You now.
You were forced under the guise of a hag, and you said you could see. You looked alarmed when you said it. Or your colors showed me you were alarmed.
We don't see that way. It's not normal. But it felt familiar.
I'm sorry it's an experience I couldn't give you. Not that one is needed. An experience, not an apology. But could I ask for a gift?
We don't know what we could give you, but ask and it's probably yours.
The trust to let me in. To let me see.
We don't follow.
I am going to attempt Gaze of Two Minds.
Yay. Gaze of Two Minds. Could you read it out for the lovely folks at
Absolutely.
home?
So, Gaze of Two Minds is a Warlock invocation. When I find it again, I'll read it in full. Where is it? That's the Paladin stuff. Hex 6 Warrior. Gaze of Two Minds. You must touch a willing humanoid. This is why, Bran, it's up to you for the humanoid part for Echo. Is that the tick box?
So, the way most playable races are, they are considered humanoid and or.
Okay. Wonderful.
So, I mean, I guess mostly what I would say is I would put that down to Echo. Echo, do you think the term humanoid applies to Echo? As well as the other things which we've discussed. Would you say that humanoid's a part of them?
I would say because of how they are built, because of parent stuff, they're a humanoid monstrosity.
Cool.
Is how
Awesome.
they fit.
So, humanoid.
Okay. This is going to be wacky. I will perceive through its senses until the end of next turn, and it takes me an action to maintain one following turns if it's a combat. So I can keep this up until I cancel it. As long as the creature is on the same plane of existence as you, I am blinded and deafened to my own surroundings, but I get to see through all of their senses. If they have blind sight, if they have tremor sense, I basically see their world.
Okay. So it does have to be a willing humanoid. So
Mm-hmm.
Echo, will you allow Reaver to place his hand on you in order to do this?
I think there's a wary confusion, but they do.
Okay. Then, Echo, please describe to Reaver how he perceives.
So, as the connection is established,
Uh-huh.
the first I have bullets here. The first thing that Reaver would come into, I feel like, and first be aware would be the general body sensations that come with it. So, the first things are there is this constant ache throughout the whole body. There is a tenderness around all of the scars, and then especially the autopsy scars. Those are very sore. They run cold. They're feeling cold. There is this gnawing, subtle hunger that's in the back of their mind, in the back of their throat. It's full body natural instinct. There's this hyper vigilance, this hyper awareness that is teeming throughout their entire body, which is kept very tense. And then there's this innate kind of itch to go after anything that moves. The next thing that will hit Reaver are the voices. There are multitudes of voices. They are constantly speaking. They are constantly commentating. Every little change in the environment, the displacement of water, there's a comment. One of the party members kind of slightly shifts, there's a comment. If part of their body is aching a little more than the rest, there's a comment. There are comments about the experience they just had in their mind with the monster. There are things along the lines of, how did it find us? We can't go home. Then there are comments on Reaver on, he says we can trust him. Can we? The monster said they wouldn't understand. Is it true? And there's individual comments on the full party, on Ariel, on, does Ariel know us? Does Ariel know themselves? There's comments on Malith. What does he know? Where has he been? How long has it been? On Feather, he loves the power, but he doesn't want the monster that comes with it, but there are things worth more, but that doesn't make sense. Power brings safety. On Loose, how many people are they losing? Is Drift gone? And then on Marisol barely spoke when we first met them. But they've been speaking a lot more. They're in a position of power now. Can we trust them? And it's all of that. And the weird thing about the voices that you notice is that vaguely, you feel like you can tell what parts of Echo's body they're coming from. And not like they're echoing from that point of their body, but as though that is their originator, that is who they are. And as you're noticing that, Reaver's attention then goes to the manacles as the next thing. They are rather snug around both their wrists and their throat. There is a pressure on their throat from them that is constant. It can't be ignored. The manacles they have a bit of weight to them. They're a bit heavy. And there is a thrum of magic that starts wherever they start, and it slowly dissipates outward. And then the tattoos come after that. They put off a bit of warmth wherever they are, etched into the skin. And from where they are in the skin, out comes this almost steady thrum of magic that coats their entire body. And you noticed a few things inside the body as well. You feel another bit of warmth around one of their fingers. And it occasionally has a pulse of magic, but it's not steady. And there seems to be no pattern to it. And then that same magic warmth, but of a different variety, you can feel in their chest cavity. And that one has a more steady thrum, almost like a heartbeat. The hearing hits you next. The hearing, when a voice speaks, you can tell everything. You can tell tone, inflection, direction, volume. You can tell, to a baseline, how they're feeling. And you can hear every little change in the world around. If something is settling, if something has fallen. If there are any animals, big or small, in the vicinity, you can hear them. You can hear every movement within a certain amount. You can hear how the water flows in certain regards, if it moves a little faster in one area versus another. If any of the party is moving around, you can hear every little noise, including any items that move. The actual sight that Reaver gets is very vague. It's shades of gray, it's general silhouettes, even. But how that information's given and how Echo perceives comes from a few other things, and one of those is echolocation. There are sound waves that are very subtly being sent out, and it's those vibrations that come back that give that information, and voices are commenting on that too. And then there is the water pressure. They use the water pressure to tell where things are, to tell how big things are, to tell more specifically what shape they are. And then finally, they detect electricity. So, in that regard, Reaver, for that one very specific point, you don't exist. In that sense. The whole rest of the party does. And Echo can see you through various other beings, but in that particular sense, Reaver does not show up. Ta-da!
That is a lot of information to filter through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Reaver a bit of time to gather up their thoughts on that. And I'm going to jump to Ariel and Luce. Okay? Now guys, I would like you to picture all that has happened so far, and I want you to rewind it all back to its very beginning. Okay? So what you guys are doing are from the moment that you know Feather has walked towards Echo at this point. So as Feather, in talking sake in the departing stance, Feather is going to squeeze Luce's hand, and then just kind of like wordlessly saying like, "I'll be back in a moment," and then stepping away. So at that point, Ariel, Luce, is there anything you guys want to do as you've now reached this tumultuous, aura encased moment?
Is Adelan still standing behind me or sitting in my vicinity?
Yes. They seem to be coming to terms with everything they've been told, with their current situation. However, it's very difficult to get like an emotional read on a skull.
Yep.
So, yeah, I would say you've got a very baseline read on the fact of they don't seem to be like breaking down. They seem to be, you know, their mental fortitude seems to be handling it.
Gotcha. I guess whenever Feather leaves, because Luce was starting to doze off as she had like Feather near her, and then like Drift / Adelan behind her, and was like in a comfortable space. And then Feather leaves, and she's just like, "Oh, okay, I'm awake again." And she's gonna just lean back against Adelan's leg, probably if he's still standing, and just look up, and the tentacles are like just wrapped around the leg again, while she's looking up at him, and she's just gonna raise a finger and just tap his leg and see if there's any response.
The skull head will shift to look down.
Well, you're moving. That's good, at least.
I don't feel like I have to stop moving.
No. You do stop moving pretty often, though. Or like,
Usually I would have stopped by now.
yeah. I mean, it's good that you got some spring in your step, I guess.
It's strange.
Yeah, it really is. This is the most I've ever heard you talk, ever. Like, in complete sentences, nonetheless, but also just in general. It's nice.
We are close, aren't we?
Yes, we don't have to be anymore if I'm a fucking stranger to you. And she gets, and like, if he's figured out how senses work as a Recborn, tentacles start like loosening around, and it's kind of the, am I about to get smacked? Like, she's not guarded or anything like that. She's just kind of like, am I in a stranger's personal space right now? I don't think I'm supposed to do this. What would Marisol do? Probably respect personal space. And starts leaning up.
He'll shake his head and he'll say, "No, I don't mind."
Promise?
Yes.
Alright. Just tell me if it feels weird. I mean, I've known you for 60-something years, but you've only known me for maybe like not even an hour. So, at least as you are right now. So, you know, if you've got any questions, I can maybe answer them. I'm real good with dead things. That's a joke. That's supposed to be a joke.
I found it quite humorous.
Oh! I learn something new every day.
I think that laughing is quite strange in this particular vessel.
Yeah, I would imagine that.
You... And he's going to look over to Ariel. And that one. You are, as he said, deep elves. Yes?
I'm also half Sicalian. So
The head kind of straightens up at that. The Sicalians are good people. They were allies to my people for a long time.
She's just kind of like he will be able to see the very. Do I tell him? I'm gonna have to tell him, but not right now. Facial expression. She's not hiding it. She's very open, but still very curious at the same time. And she just kind of nods. My daddy is a deep sea elf. My mama's a Scalian. That's kind of how this ended up happening. I think I wear it well, sometimes.
I think you wear it exceptionally well.
Then I think I know I wear it well. But yeah, deep sea elves look like, and then motions towards Ariel's general direction. I was raised in Cephalophore more than anything else. I wasn't close to my daddy's family, but I was close to my daddy. So like, it's kind of just that whole thing.
And deep
So I
sea
gotta
elves.
mix
Deep
Uh-huh.
sea elves are cousins to my people. Am I correct?
Yeah. They
And-
live in Deep Heart. Mostly.
I have no understanding of this deep heart you speak, although it is named in the elven tradition, so I have hope. And
Yeah,
you and the other deep elf, you are related?
Oh, no, I hope not. That would make things real weird. I don't want siblings. I don't know. I don't think that's how that works.
Apologies,
Oh.
I seem to have caused some kind of insult.
No.
It was not intended to be such.
Not an insult, but I did play a little bit of a joke on that one, where I might have left out context needed for a funny moment, whenever I made them go to bed because they were staying up all fucking night and day doing weird plant shit. And then I basically inferred to the party members that the two of us did not, in fact, like, just sleep in the same vicinity, but, like, slept together in a sexual manner. We did not. I thought it would be funny.
Did you also make this humorous, non-contextualized comparison around your winter elf partner?
He wasn't around yet. We didn't
Ah.
find him until, like, maybe, like, later on that day, actually, in a shipwreck.
Ah. The winter elves are also a good people, though strange.
You knew surface people?
I travelled with surface people for a small time.
You traveled with surface people?
Yes. I travelled with an amazing warrior from the wood elven nations of the Vardenvale, as well as a winter elven sorcerer from the continent of Yulna. That is what they call the floating continent of ice in the frozen salt ocean.
Oh, that's where winter is.
That is what their ancestors, our ancestors, called it, as the seasonal court of Winter Eladrin called it home. They named it after their court, Winter.
Oh.
Are you not taught this in your basic teachings?
No, I grew up in Cephalophore.
He's going to turn and look at Ariel. You! Are elves taught the history of their people and our surface-dwelling cousins?
Ariel's gonna like look at Lucian's like hesitantly move forward.
Luce is just gonna point at Ariel and be like, he was raised in a cult.
Thank you.
Were raised in a cult.
I was taken when I was a baby.
Ah.
I don't really know much about my people.
Well, then you shall be educated in the ways of your ancestors. Both of you shall. And he eyeballs both you and Luce, like you will both be educated.
I'm so excited. Ariel, get the fuck over here. We're about to learn some shit.
Sit yourselves down, folks. I'm about to teach you some learning.
And as soon as Ariel is within reaching distance, she's gonna basically grab his ankle and pull him down.
Fuck! Okay, it's strange seeing you this excited. Okay. Hello.
Okay, so you guys have basically just willingly, well, maybe not so willingly for Ariel, but y'all have just basically locked yourself into a lecture about the history and the origins of the elven people on the world of Atuma. Okay,
absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
So what I'm going to say is, this is going to have some positive benefits to it, right? It's going to be a positive and a negative. The positive is going to be you're going to get something from this, right? The negative is going to be you can't do shit else because Atalan hasn't spoken in quite a long time. So he is just going to talk incessantly, and the more you go, see, I really should go and do it, he just raises the decibel volume of his voice.
If Ariel makes any attempt.
It's the ADHD of, I know you're going to talk over me, so what I'm going to do, instead of stopping, is I'm just going to speak louder, because if I stop talking, I will forget my sentence.
Luce is basically just like, legs crossed, looking intensely, but also just like, grabs Ariel by the arm, pulls Ariel in close, hands Ariel basically a page from like their map making supplies of a blank sheet of what would be paper down here.
You didn't bring your own pen and paper? God, you're so unprepared for the first day of school.
Basically, just goes full on like archaeologist mode and is ready to learn.
So over the course of this hour-long lecture you're going to get, which is basically the cliff notes of elven heritage and how they came to be, you guys are going to get, you will not have advantage on history checks when it comes to the history or the culture of elven nations.
Yes.
Okay, it's very, very specific and very niched, but hey, it might happen. Basically, you get taught about how the first people on the world of Atuma were the Eladrin, and they split into the 4 courts. The Autumn Court taking the autumn lands to the west, the Spring Courts taking the forested lands to the north, or the central north, the Summer Eladrin taking the summer courts in the southern lands, and then in the far northern lands, winter settling in there. They talk about that, the forming of the elven kingdoms over the course of 10,000 years, and then eventually to an event called the Shattering, which was where the Eladrin Wars started, where all the Eladrin started fighting for resources, and Winter used a whole load of magic in a very reckless manner and basically blasted the border and separated themselves, drifting off into the north into the frozen salt ocean. From there he talks about how the other nations came to be, how the Winter Eladrin that were left behind when their home was shattered off, they eventually had to flee underground, and that's how the Drow came to be, how Wood Elves began to set up communications with the northern merfolk, which had started to kind of filter into existence, and through breeding with them, that was the birth of Sea Elves, and how that eventually led into Deep Sea Elves, but he doesn't know about that, so he only teaches you about how sea elves came to be. Talks to you about how the different elven cultures, how they behaved, how they acted towards each other, and how the sea elves have always had a very strong link with their wood elven cousins, because he teaches you that, you know, winter Eladrin became winter elves, autumn Eladrin became mountain elves, summer Eladrin became high elves, and the spring Eladrin became wood elves. That basically comes in and teaches you about, like, you know, famous people, famous names and such. And I forgot something. Luce, he talks about several families, and you've got cousins.
I do.
You do.
I do.
So as he brings up your family name. He talks about, like, you know, important sea elven families. Ariel, obviously your family is important, but he doesn't know about deep elves. So he talks about your family name, which is weird because he doesn't know deep elven family names, but he brings up your family name, Luce, and then he says about how you were linked to a wood elven noble family, specifically a family called the Willowinds.
Somewhere patron is screaming.
Those of you who have seen the other campaigns, the Willowinds are currently, and have been, the only ruling family of the Wood Elven nations since their first king, Cernún Willowwind, was crowned. If you want to know more about that, you should check out the forming on Monday nights. But yeah, he mentions it very nonchalantly, as if you should know this. But
And
yeah, that's what you guys get for an hour.
So and he mentions the Glimmertide family specifically.
Specifically, he mentions the Glimmertides were a sea elven noble family of great importance.
Huh.
And that they came from specifically wood elves who chose to step into the waters. So they were, like, the way he describes it as a Willowwind daughter willingly married into a Glimmertide noble family and was given essentially, she was still a wood elf, but she was given essentially the capability to breathe underwater so she could live with her partner at that time. And that was the bond between the Willowwinds and the Glimmertides, and how they eventually, you know, had a united family bloodline.
Ariel, hearing this, just nudges Luce and says, "Welcome to the nobility club, buddy."
But that's what you guys get for an hour, okay? Now, I am going to come back to you guys, but I want to jump back very quickly before we go on our break. I want to go to Reaver and get his reaction to Echo's onslaught. Onslaught of spherical perceptive capabilities. So, as you guys are getting lectured about elven heritage and culture, as Marisol is sitting getting spoken to by a god and being told, "Yo, yell at them, they need it." And while Feather is basically just going, "I have so much to apologise for." Reaver, you've just been pugilistically pummeled in the perceptive resonances of your brain. How is Reaver reacting to the rigmarole of sensory perceptive capabilities that is Echo's way of seeing?
The immediate reaction has got to be the very beautiful gif of, if you ever type in CS flashbang and the boom as everything just hits. Seeing that they don't actually see, but it's like with all these other different ways and interests. It's very interesting. Fun fact, the wording on gaze, I don't have to stay touching. I only have to touch to initiate. But I'm not going to let go yet, because as they talk about it, first thing I do is place my hand over there to the other one, try and calm them as they keep talking about the monster and their fears. And say, you are safe with me. You are safe with them.
So, for the first time, Reaver gets to hear in real time how Echo's full being responds to being spoken to. Because Reaver gets to perceive his own voice just being added into... Cheese is the best thing that can happen?
Sorry, I went to check the time and my phone opened because it saw my face and it was on TikTok. I'm very sorry.
Cheese is the best thing to happen right now.
I was just here like, hold on, I have to confirm
However,
this sentence.
I will confirm, cheese is absolutely the best thing to ever happen. Also, it's as easy to get addicted to cheese as it is to get addicted to cocaine. That's a biological fact.
I'm so glad I'm lactose intolerant.
So glad I just don't usually eat cheese.
So glad.
Cheese is great.
I was going to make it.
More milk from you.
Yep. Me and Kyle will be over
sorry.
here with our milk and cheese.
You're all good.
And I'll be over here with my cocaine.
So, there's one very key thing that I, as a player, know about that has been discussed. And by the recognition, I need to know, does Reaver recognize what it is, Bran? And it's one of the magic items.
Which one?
What does Reaver have a real problem with?
Oh, yeah. What, you talking about that luck thing that they have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Would you be aware of what it is, though? That's the thing. I'd say I don't think you'll be aware of what exactly it is unless Echo actively thinks about it.
Cool. So I did not see one in like the church or anything like that.
Nah.
That's a problem for a later me. Excellent. I'm going to gently let go of their hands and say, to prove their trust, I'm blind and I see through you. And then I'm just going to walk back. Are you coming with me?
There.
So you will see me like have to learn how to use your vision to walk.
There's also as Reaver pulls away, as Reaver starts walking, as Reaver states what he does. All of us are going, why? What is he doing? What is happening? Why is this the course of action we're taking? What does he mean? Why? What? And it's just, amidst everything else, it's a lot of confusion. And whenever Reaver speaks, he'll notice that it's another voice in with the voices that Echo actually has to parse out in order to listen to. So whenever someone is talking with them, it's something they have to actively focus on making sure they hear. And so they process for a moment before turning to make sure where their front is where is facing Reaver's body. No longer consciousness, just body. As well as the rest of the group. And you worry us. You worry me. I'll follow.
It's called blind faith. I have faith in you, and without your world of vision, I'm blind. It's a beautiful way to see the world. Now we have a captain to guard, and a really stupid shark, and then the others.
Oh boy, okay. I'll just make sure you're in. I don't know how to do that. Now just mumbling to themselves as the voices go as well.
I can turn it off, Echo. I'm just practicing. Because now it means you can go hunt, and I can keep you I can watch with you so that you can feel safe to go alone, but know I'm still there with you if you get in danger to come find you.
One of the last things that starts happening is some of the voices start picking up a specific worry, a new worry. And that worry is, what if the monster gets to him through us? What if the monster can talk to us and to him like this? What if it speaks again? Does it know him? Can it still hear us? And that's the worries that start peeking up, but all Echo actually says is, Echo trusts you.
Bran, I don't like that face.
The synchronized look up from everyone else was on point, though.
I'm going to... I'm going to try something while I still have the vision on. I'm going to move my finger in the sand. Can Echo make out the depression?
How big is it?
I'll maybe make it a foot long. Just a line.
Sorry, wrong question. How deep is it? How wide is it as well? Because that's more so what matters.
I'm basically going to make sure that I can read it as well. Because I can see, so I'll make... But I'm basically going to write, I'll kill it.
Okay. Whoever in our group today gets the good rolls to my bad ones, enjoy them.
Cool.
Because I rolled a nat 1.
Okay.
On that. And instead of focusing on keeping, like, the body in, one spot of their vision, which is what they were trying to do, they dart down towards the sand. At first, they go to, like, dust it away, but they stop. There's a conflict, and the voices are losing their minds, but when are they not? And it's a medley of, that's our kill. It's coming for us, but what if he gets in the way? What if it kills him instead? What if we can't keep our promise? But we have to be better than it. If he kills it, are we better than it? And it's a lot of that line.
I'm going to drop the gaze. I'm just going to go and hug them and say, it's okay. And then if they don't fucking bite me or squirm, I'm just going to keep them in one arm, go collect my sword, and go walk over to Captain Marisol, sit down, and make sure they're safe. And that'll be me. Wiping off I'll kill them off the ground. It's not staying.
Just ominous message in the sand.
I'll kill them.
In a couple of days, a random party shall walk by and just see I'll kill them in the sand. They immediately turn around, and that was the D&D campaign that got 2 sessions, and they never met again.
Because of the one, you do, like, Reaver does get a brief bite. But
how much damage?
It doesn't last very long, and they do actually kind of chill.
Chill.
I use that term very loosely.
Okay. So Reaver is now left, walked over to where Marisol is. Echo, are you joining, or are you chilling but staying where you are?
I mean, I think they're a package deal. Like, I'm pretty sure.
For context, Echo's being held like this.
I'm just a bauble.
Being carted along.
Okay, cool. You guys come back right towards the end of the elven lecture that is being given to Ariel and Luce. Marisol, everybody has come back together. They have all rejoined and are all now kind of sitting in the same area as one another. So, what I'm going to do to give our lovely, lovely Lawless Aries cosplay some time to think on what they want to say. We're technically 5 minutes early for our break, but I'm going to take our break there. With all of the inner party kind of things all being kind of smoothed over, at least temporarily. And when we come back next, in the next half, y'all are about to get your character told to you. Sorry, that's a very Irish phrase. Y'all are about to get shouted at by the captain. I hope. We hope. But yeah, we're going to take our break there, okay? So I'm going to give my party a chance to go and get a drink, grab a snack, all that jazz, decompress from the high emotions that have happened here, and we're going to go on our break. Don't go anywhere, folks. We will be back in 15 minutes. 15 of those minutes at 1:45. Don't go anywhere, folks. We will be right back after our break. Hello, you beautiful nerds, and welcome to part 2. When we left off, the party was about to get yelled at by Marisol, who's basically been given permission to yell at them by the god of storms. Let's see how this goes down.
God said yes.
So,
God
as
said
everybody
yes.
comes back together, including Feather, who has now come back over and has looked quite sorry, as we now have to differentiate. Celia has now walked over and saw Ariel and Luce getting lectured by by Drift / Atalan. Marisol, the entire group is now back in the same position, and things seem to be. I'll put this out to the party as a whole. Would it be safe to say that things seem to be a little bit more calm, chilled? There seems to be a bit of a more easy air around about the campsite right now. Would you think that's a fair thing to say? I'm asking this to the party as a whole. Reaver gives a tentative thumbs up, which evolves into a shrug.
When is Reaver ever calm?
There.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, This might be
Echo
as calm
is-
as we
Echo is
can
let-
get.
Echo is letting the audience decide. Ariel's phoning a friend.
Ariel's just here.
And Luce
Ariel's
is
here for a good
Luce is
time.
going 50-50. All
Luce
the
is
lifelines
just-
of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire are currently being used.
Luce is basically just taking on the note taker role now of history lesson. So because Ariel's not taking notes, obviously, and has stolen Ariel's paper, and has just kept taking notes on it.
Ariel's
And not-
taking notes. Ariel's taking notes. They're shitty notes, but they are notes.
Ah, yes. The relationship we have IRL and in game continues.
I remember at one time I decided I was going to take notes in character, and then looked at my intelligence score and went, I have an intelligence of 6. It's gonna be great. It was stickmen drawn getting electrocuted and punched so hard their heads came off, and then just like drawings of like my character with like a WWE belt above their head, like yeah. I went back
His
to
stick
it.
figures
I
with
went-
labels over top of them.
I went back
Be
to
like,
the
these
deal.
are these people.
I went back to it a day later, and I was like, I have no idea what happened last session.
Yeah, Ariel's notes are just stick figures and labels like these people, which are offshoots of these people. It's like the weirdest string theory map with stick figures.
Luce is taking verbatim notes as best she can. She has an intelligence of 11. I think she's taking halfway decent ones. She's misspelling things.
Okay. Marisol. We put
I'm
it
nervous.
to you.
Anyway,
Got this,
Just remember.
Thank you.
Just remember this, Danny. Okay. We know this is not Danny. We know this is Marisol. We know this is not Danny yelling at Kyle, Selkie, Tom, and Diamond. We know this is Marisol letting Reaver, Echo, Ariel, Luce, Feather have it. And we love you, and it's totally chill. We know it's in character. So on that note, Marisol, channel title.
We're
And
all
let
here
it
for it.
fucking rip.
Use that advantage.
all right, everyone, come together. We have much to discuss.
Okay.
Okay. What's up?
I have been doing a lot of thinking. A lot of searching for the best way to lead this group forward, and it is an interesting group, considering how we all met. in the various stages that we did meet, and what we have gained and what we have lost. As your friend, I love you all dearly, and I would never want to do anything to cause you harm or stress. But right now I am not your friend, I am your captain. And things have been weighing heavy on me in the dynamic of this group for long enough that I feel that everyone needs to hear a few things. In my time, when I did not speak, I would take many odd jobs. I'd be a guard, I'd help with transporting things. I met many a noble, and I met many a soldier, and many an adventurer, and so many of them came with such intense bravado. Intense need to believe what they were doing was right, intense belief that all they were doing was right, and that nothing could ever be done wrong in their hands because they had good intentions. In a lot of ways, that was their downfall, being unable to see the error of their ways. And that eventually leading to them repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again. This group does not have that bravado. We perhaps have the opposite problem. Everyone here, when something goes wrong, seems to think that it is exclusively their fault. Now, I think looking inward is a very powerful thing. But if all you do is spend the time blaming yourself for the things that go wrong around you, you don't take any time to think about how you stop things from going wrong like this in the future. And beyond that, it is almost a selfish thing to look at the chaos around you and think that it all must be centered on you. We are not gods, we are simply beings on this earth. That terrible things have happened to all of us. But they are not our fault. Everyone here has been the victim of the actions of different individuals around them that they did not make do those actions, that they did not provoke those actions from, necessarily, and that those actions were their own, not the folly on any of us. Our actions are our own folly, yes. And we do have to own up to them. But we cannot destroy ourselves for them. Otherwise, we are never going to move forward. That all being said, there is another issue here that we tend to fall into, which is that when we do find ourselves wanting to hold others accountable for the issues that we have, we just kind of stew on that. Perhaps we'll talk to each other, but we won't necessarily talk to the people around us, the people that we actually have an issue with, until it comes to someone punching each other in the face, which, sometimes that does solve conflict. But it shouldn't always come to that. It shouldn't always come to everyone being so afraid to talk to each other that nothing ever gets done until it is too late, till we are past the point of no return with our emotions. So I would like to say, as a new rule, and I don't have all the new rules figured out, I'm working on it. But as a new rule, if there is a problem, you say it then. If you don't feel like you can be impartial about it and hear the other person out, you two come say it in front of me. I'll help you work it out. But we cannot keep these secrets and keep these problems to ourselves anymore. We need to actually know each other to be able to move as a group. And to be able to defend each other as a group. Now, that all being said, our journey is very multifaceted. We have seen a lot of things, we have met a lot of people, Your Majesty included, and we have a lot of directions we could go in. I personally think we should deal with the silverfish first because it would be one less smaller piece not hanging over our head, considering. I know I have just said a lot, and perhaps everyone would need a minute to deal with that before we move on. But I would like you all to think about it, come back to me in perhaps half an hour, and then we can move forward. That is all.
What are you naming your crew, Captain Marisol?
I think we are... I want to be cool. At this point, I think we are the last knights of Atalan. Any other questions?
So are you the highest authority in or out of crew?
I'm the highest authority in the crew. Outside the crew is... I don't really...
I have a question, Captain.
Yes.
Are you going to assign roles to us like before, or is that something to be talked about later?
I am going to assign rules to you like before. I am particularly thinking about the status of first mate and such. Right now, I want everyone to work in the same roles that they had previously. And I will fix the gaps where I see them.
Heard.
Any other reactions to Marisol's words? Okay. It was put out by Marisol that the next stop should be dealing with the silverfish. What's the party's opinion on this?
Sounds about right.
To talk
Cool.
to Mallet. Luce just needs to talk to Mallet, basically.
Okay.
Full clarity going forward, Captain. Two things, I guess. One, we killed the messenger. There are other messages, so there's technically a timeline on that. Oh, and 2, I thoroughly pissed them off when I left.
I could have figured both of those things out, which is why we should probably deal with it sooner rather than later. I appreciate the transparency.
What are we going to do about that one? And I'm going to point at Shelley.
Shelley, how do you feel about everything that you have heard so far?
You know, everybody's got a job that they don't like. You know, I don't like that I gotta get my hands dirty by digging up certain things in the ground and stuff. So like, yeah, whatever you guys gotta do, I'm right there behind you. You know, more of like a spiritual or moral support than anything else.
You have no hesitation as to coming with us then?
Oh,
Even-
going. Okay. Sorry, I understand now. I was a little bit confused by the whole situation. Yeah, no, that's the opposite direction from me.
Okay, so... Does that mean we are parting ways for now? Perhaps...
Well, see, there's a secret third option, and that is that I could just wait here.
You want to just wait here with Drift?
I could do that.
Okay, we can have you just wait here with Drift.
I could do that. I can wait here for you guys while you go deal with the silverfish, whatever that is.
Okay.
Does the party have anything they wish to say about the idea of going to deal with the silverfish first?
Hold on.
Echo,
What
I
are
have a
you-
question for Marisol, but that'll be later.
If Diamond needs me to fill the air while I finish writing, I can actually do that. Cool. What are your intentions with the silverfish? I have my own.
I don't feel great about the options, but if he continues to make himself a threat, I honestly think perhaps getting as much information out of him as we can, and then considering the option of making him no longer a threat to anyone anymore. There are a lot of factors here, and it feels ignorant to enter the situation saying that I know exactly how it is going to go, because I have never accurately guessed how any situation we have ever gotten into has gone.
Giving advice as one should. Celia could maybe back me up or contradict me, but when dealing with underworld figures such as themselves that you have pissed off in the past and have a great interest in trinkets that you have, as I'm just gonna like tap the blade, they'll get you to do work that's in their benefit, and then they'll either ambush you on the way back, or when you get back to their place, they will have a trap set to kill you.
Fair enough. Does anyone have any opposition to killing him?
Only because they're a Sicalian. They're a Sicalian who was basically ousted from 7-4. That doesn't come without connections in somehow, because they run an entire fucking crime syndicate. If you accidentally create basically a hole in power where, there's no longer a leader running said crime syndicate, that would then be a future problem we have to then handle constantly. You already killed the messenger. There's probably check-ins or something to make sure that, that doesn't happen. So, at least that's kind of how I think things would go. I don't know. I was a mercenary, not a crime syndicate, as far as I know. Malith, were we a crime syndicate?
Malif is going to just look very, very bewildered at that question, then lean forward and go, I'm going to choose to not answer that question without legal representation present.
Alright, fine.
Sorry, that's the knee-jerk response that we're told to say, all the time. Yes, we were, in fact, a criminal organization. That is what...
Never mind what I just said. Yeah. No. Then I really don't think it's a good thing to just willy-nilly just take out the leader of a fucking crime syndicate. Being someone who was in one. That I now have knowledge of. Because I don't know the word I'm looking for. Feather, what's the word I'm looking for? When there's power, but it's not in the space it should be, and it's just empty.
I think the word you're looking for there, dearest, is a vacuum.
Sure. That. Intelligence level 11. Basically, I think we need to maybe have contingency plans instead of it just being kill the thing, hope the thing that replaces the thing we killed doesn't come after us to kill us.
Not to put too fine a point on it, what if we were to have somebody ready to take the Silverfish's place?
I mean, that could also work.
It's not a bad idea, but how would we achieve that exactly?
Who would we put in that situation?
Well, and I speak with the highest of respect when I say all of what I'm about to say. To our current leader, it would be rather unwise to put you in charge of 2 organizations. That would be
yes, I do not want
you
to.
Too thin. I do not think that Reaver would be an ideal choice to lead a criminal organization such as this, because we need you here. Someone cannot always lead when they have to be at the front of everything. We need someone who is used to leading from afar. That also eliminates me. It also eliminates, in my opinion, Echo. And he's going to smile towards Echo and say, I think you would be great at leading a group on a frontline assault, but I do not think that leading from a distance is something that would be something you would excel in, much like Reaver and myself to a certain extent. You're incredibly hands-on, as is Luce, which is why that would eradicate Luce. Also, and I mean this in the most loving way, dearest, Luce is not great at the talking to people.
Yeah.
That leaves one option, in my opinion.
Malice.
Sounds about right.
Mm,
No.
Allow me to be a bit more specific. Malith is not someone who I would trust intellectually to... You won't understand what I mean when I say this, but boil an egg. Unsupervised. Although I believe Ariel would be able to lead this group from afar.
It's funny.
Sell it to me, I guess.
Sell it to you. Alright. Somebody who is charismatic,
As well.
someone who is able to actively influence others from a distance, which you've been shown to be able to do with your little favours. On top of that, because of your past experiences with cult-like organisations, you know how not to treat people. So chances are the people under your employ in this situation would probably like to maintain that way, therefore they're more than likely to get on board with any slight changes you make. My second option would be Echo, but that would be more of a... We're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. Sorry, to reiterate what I mean by that, we're going to start at the bottom and we're going to cut through every one of them until we get to the silverfish, at which point by the time we put Echo in charge of it, we'll have to hire a whole host of new people. Whereas I believe with you, Ariel, we might stand a chance of actually getting to the silverfish and being able to take them out while there is still a body to rule, cutting the head off the serpent, so to speak, rather than setting fire to the whole damn snake.
So what you're suggesting, if correct me if I'm wrong on this, is a coup.
Absolutely.
No, that
Oh,
could
Adeline
be
was talking
fun.
about that. Apparently, that's also an elven thing that happened on the surface, basically.
It's a strong elven tradition.
Just having coups.
Well, where I'm from, a coup means something different.
We called them mutinies, and I'm just going to stare at Feather saying that.
We did call them mutinies.
True. And then he's going to repeat again quietly, the Thresher's Maw is dead.
The Thresher's Maw is no longer... The Thresher's Maw is dormant.
Captain Marisol, is this a vote thing, or are you taking authoritative control?
It is always a vote. I don't want to force anyone to do anything.
And are these votes simple or explained?
I think explaining is important
Right, give me a
in
moment.
this situation.
Luce, you wanted to say something, I think?
Them finish.
Okay.
No, but I just that those are the two questions. Please go ahead, Simon.
I mean, we're a day away from a place where the D-Pad is. It was also an organization of mercenaries for hire who have leadership structures and probably people who would be better fitted to basically be able to do this kind of thing and make sure shit doesn't go in the depths with the Leviathans. So I was gonna say I need to go there because Malith needs to go there. Malith got me back to Drift / Adelan. And so I need to return the favor. I think it would be good if we cover all of our options here instead of it just being the few of us going against a literal crime syndicate, because we're not the sneakiest of the bunch, if y'all haven't noticed. So I can be sneaky sometimes, not all the time though. But I think it would be better if we head that way, because we got to figure out where we're even going in relation to Silverfish and how we're going to get there. And if we basically use the fact that, like, hey, Mouth is coming back, and make sure Mouth doesn't fucking die on the way. No offense, love you to death, but you know, kind of carried your unconscious body a long ways. Make sure you weren't like that anymore and didn't die. Like to get you somewhere semi-safe, and we might be able to find somebody who could, if you want to go with Feather's idea of sticking Ariel in power, possibly find somebody who can help that process along, because while Ariel knows cult shit, it's more like running a business with a lot of people under you who are dependent on you. So that's just my pitch of, I think there's strength in numbers, but there's also strength in having enough information about how we could be able to do this without just going in and y'all doing your weird magic shit and me doing the hitting shit.
Can I
With
ask something
Oh.
as we're going through all this, Captain?
yeah, of course.
This is to everyone. What we are hearing suggested, outside of going to the deep tide as well, though that's not discounted in this line of questioning at all. To get the details correct, one person would need to die. Correct?
Whenever we, technically yes, but getting the Silverfish alone ain't gonna be easy, because whenever we had a meeting with them, there was at least a crowd of people for a hot minute, and then it just became the Silverfish and Reaver, and they had a conversation. But problem with this place is that they have eyes and ears everywhere, because the Silverfish is a fucking Cicalian, and they're secret porters, which means they lack knowing information. And so why not play the Cicalian game of you get enough information to counter their information? My mom couldn't teach me magic. She sure as fuck taught me that.
The line of questioning that Echo is going to go on, because as Echo said, they are not discounting the deep tide in this line of questioning, was simply going to be that as it is set up currently, one target, finding, stealthily, leaving, is entirely Echo's specialty. It's what we were built for. We are not saying that that is the route we must go, but Echo wanted to make sure they actually had the details of what one of the plans could have been, or who the actual target and end goal was, to offer that information.
That is fair, and that can be very useful going forward.
If I may, Captain,
Yes.
just to piggyback off of what Echo was saying, but also taking into account the resources with the deep tide that Lucas was talking about, there seems to be at least the building blocks for a decent plan to not only be rid of the silverfish, but doing it in a way that I guess adds or kind of merges the deep tide in with the silverfish's syndicate in a way where one of us wouldn't have to lead that, but some organization where we know what they do, in reference to the deep tide, could maybe merge together. Perhaps we could cause distraction or like a communication, start talks of something between the two groups, and then Echo could do what Echo does, and then the silverfish as a person is gone, and then we leave the two groups to figure it out for themselves.
Shelley,
Yeah.
Caradines are what we call might is right sort of collective. They
the-
follow the strongest.
For the most part, yes.
Echo, there may be two targets.
Two?
The silverfish has a second in command who leads all the Caradine. If we kill the silverfish alone, they will be the rightful assumptor. So if we are going with your plan, two targets.
Not Echo's plan. Echo just can execute the plan. Echo doesn't do plans. Echo doesn't have plans. But in that scenario, Echo would probably be sent after the second first.
Very well.
Art.
Work your way up from the bottom sort of situation.
Okay, so as it stands now, we will go to the deep tide, get Malice back to where Malice is supposed to be, discuss with them what is going on with the silverfish, see if we can get some communication or goings on between the two organizations, possibly send Echo in after that is set up, leave with hopefully someone in charge of the silverfish's organization that is on our side, and then continue forward with our next task.
Speaking of our next task, technically, if this is going where I think it's going, Ariel and I need to go to Deep Heart, but also what I need to go to Deep Heart for might also be part of a solution for this. Potentially.
Oh, so.
Coldo.
Hmm?
Coldo was the one who I bothered until he taught me how to basically fight. And then I took what he taught me and made it my own. Which is how I end up like this. But, according to Malith, Coldo is an influential person within the Deep Tide. And Coldo trusted me enough to tell me that he went into hiding. So, if I can get in contact with whoever the fuck Coldo's mother of pearl is and Deep Heart, I can potentially get in contact with Holdo if he's still fucking alive. If he's not, I'm gonna kill him. But you know. So it becomes one of those things of I don't know how magic works. Is that a thing you can do with magic?
It's
The guard that I talked to said something about a sending stone. I don't have one of those. But basically, Koldo should be in.
Dim, do I know anything about sending stones?
Sending stones beneath the waves are even rarer than they are on the surface. Sending stones beneath the surface are a very rare item.
Do I at least understand like the logistics of what it is?
Yeah, it's a stone which
Okay.
has the ability to continually cast sending. Like you,
Okay.
yeah, you understand the concept of it.
Okay. I don't have one of those, and I don't have access to the spell that it uses.
Feather, what about you? Do you have anything like that?
Nothing that would allow direct communication of the sort, but I can offer something.
Okay.
There's a spell I have which would be able to make a point for teleportation. I could essentially hold that point to be teleported back to for 24 hours. What this would mean would be that if we get to the deep tide and we deal with what Luce and Ariel need to do there, we could then, once I draw this circle, teleport to anywhere else that there is a circle. Now, I know of one other circle in this area thanks to being present at the time when you happen to be within its area of effect, and it does happen to be within the city of Atlan where you encountered the silverfish. Essentially, I would open a tunnel between those two teleportation circles, which would last for 24 hours. Once we get to the deep tide, we set up the circle, and that gives us 24 hours to deal with the silverfish and get out safely. Untraceable, instantaneous travel.
Not a bad idea.
The silverfish isn't in Atlan.
Yes, they are.
Both player and character, they said they had to abandon Atlan to go to a hideaway near the frozen ocean.
They said that that was where they were moving their main base of operations to.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it was only the location of their operations that have been moved. Hold on, now that I'm saying that. Now that I'm saying that, because I think I've got that part mixed up, give me a moment. Session 30, 31, 32. Absolutely ignore me. It's not them that have had to move their base of operations for that.
Ominous.
Huh?
Who the fuck moved their base of operations then?
The silverfish has moved. They've moved into the northwestern border between the Grecan Ocean and the frozen salt ocean. Do apologise. Ignore everything that ignore everything that Feather just said. What they would essentially say the same thing, but it would be like once they get to the deep tide, they wouldn't have to travel back to this location. He could bring them to back to here instantaneously. They wouldn't have to have the day's travel to get back here. So it would cut time out of travel as essentially a way to resolve that. But he would confirm that he wouldn't have any way to kind of do what else you were asking. Not within his current repertoire, anyway.
Options are good.
Hmm.
I can also probably see if anybody. I don't even know. Also, there's another problem we have. Technically, that we might get caught up on the way to anywhere we go. That there are sea elves of the royal following persuasion. And Luce is going to motion to the dead bodies of guards that are in a pile that Drift killed. Because he wasn't at a land yet.
Yep.
Ah,
Yeah, they were looking for us.
like us, the group, or
At a land.
Yes, little one.
Do you have any recollections of recent times as before you came back to your state of consciousness?
It's fairly solid in my brain, yes. Or I don't suppose I have a brain anymore. I remember, if that is what you're asking.
It's fairly solid in your state of being. We can just call it that.
I like that. That's a good way to describe it. Yes, why?
The guards that came here and you then took care of very effectively, mind you. That's why this is why he's my favorite. And this is why Marisol's my second favorite. But basically, you told me whenever we came back that they were looking for me, but they were looking for all of us. Did they say anything about why? Or just that they were looking?
They said something about people in Ocean's Heart needing you.
Me?
I believe it was a collective you.
Oh, whatever. Okay. Thank whoever Marisol praises.
Faint thunder rumble, and it gets slightly brighter here.
Alright, that's weird. I'm gonna ignore that. It's probably some magic shit. So basically, if we go anywhere that there are sea elven persuasion from, or people from Oceanheart who know that they should be looking for us in any capacity, it's probably best that we don't go as a big group of all of us possibly getting caught up in this all at once.
does that include Deep Heart? You're the knowledgeable one on this one. Is the relationship with Ocean Heart and Deep Heart solid, or
The deep tide exists to try to reunite the deep sea elves and the sea elves. I don't think those relations are as solid as they could be. They weren't as solid as when Adelan was around and ruling, obviously, or else you and I wouldn't look the way we do. But then that's just kind of a stated fact. That's not me being mean to you. At least as far as I know. Granted, I was raised in Sephiroth. But also, the thing that your neighbor said to you about how there were two people who came looking for you, and one of them was a deep sea elf and the other one was a sea elf.
yeah, it's been in the back of my head.
And they didn't
I-
ask for the witch.
Yeah, I honestly, I wish I had answers to give you on that. I don't.
It's fine.
There might be some in the basement. My dad told me about, but as of right now, I don't know.
Well, I got family in Deep Heart that I've never talked to, but you know. And then I've got actual family being Cold Oak in Deep Heart, or if he's even fucking there, or his mother or Pearl or whatever. But my other family, points to mouth, needs to go to whatever haven is a day away. And so we now know different pinpoints of possible threats that are following us, one, that are actively seeking us. They're going to know that that whole party didn't come back after seeking us, so they're probably going to think, you know, oh, hey, we lost communication here. Let's start from there and go somewhere else. And widen whatever the fuck.
Right.
But also, Feather can get us in and out of somewhere fairly quickly, which is good.
Maybe.
Shelley,
Yes.
just because no one's asked this, how do you feel about criminal activities and the conversation? Are you wanting to be involved in this, or do you want to, you know, take a couple steps out and stop listening?
I understand that, and yeah, I'm cool.
Okay, and you're good with the conversation idea of blood and how blood can be formed.
Oh,
yeah?
as long as I don't have to see it, I'm good. I am exceptionally
Okay.
hemophobic.
Okay. Ariel, I have a question for you about your plan. You want to send some collective, most likely by the sounds of your wording, the Deep Tide, into a conversation with the Silverfish's gang. Have Echo assassinate the Silverfish mid-action, or take them away, and leave the Deep Tide to fight the Silverfish's men. Correct?
No. I wasn't trying to insinuate that a fight be broken out with that at all, but
So a meeting between two criminal organizations, and then the leader of one of them missing immediately because of said, you don't think it's going to cause a fight?
I might have another idea.
Sorry,
But
let's
continue.
hold on just a moment. Let's let Ariel answer that.
I don't know, man. I don't know how criminal organizations work. I was never a part of one. I was just thinking that if we get people talking and copacetic, then good things would happen afterwards.
I'm aware.
I'm just playing on the hopeful.
Can Marisol hear me?
Danny?
Danny?
I think Denny's
I'll
gonna
be back.
Cool. I basically have a reply to Denny at that point, so Diamond, by all means.
Did Silverfish tell you anything interesting in your one-on-one talk, Reaver?
Define interesting.
Can you just fucking tell me what you two talk about? Please.
Sure.
Will you?
They wanted my blade.
Because it's from the surface?
Because it's a storm giant blade. They collect storm giant items. The belt they have allowed that little teenager to shatter that desk like a twig. We are on very cold terms. Hence my point of, I pissed them off. I said if they did anything to any of my crew, I'd kill them on sight.
So, frozen terms, to be more precise.
They replied in kind. And I gave them back the 1,000 pearls as a gift.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
Captain, based on Ariel's statements of hope and lack of plan, this is why I'm extensively voting no that they be put as captain of the organization. The only efforts I have seen of them leading are through corrupt control, charm, and they want to talk when killing is necessary. I do not doubt that Ariel is a good person, but a criminal organization is not a good place. My suggestion of a plan is we give Atlan to the deep tides, dark tides,
Deep tide. Deep tide.
to the deep tide by delivering the silverfish's head to them. They have the power to take over the city. We gain favor with them further.
I don't know how I feel about you trying to give someone to someone else, but I think I understand where you're going with this.
Matt, understand
unders-
that you mean to put Drift, aka Atalan, in charge of a criminal organization.
No, I plan to put Maleth in charge.
That's the
As a
dumbest
promotion.
idea I've ever heard.
Listen, I'm good with the killing, and I know when other people shouldn't be doing the killing, and Ariel is too sweet to lead murderers.
You seem to know so much about me.
You tried to talk to your brother.
I tried to buy us time. I tried to plan. At least I took initiative.
I have a problem with that statement, Captain, but I will listen to your words and not use violence. My point is, I believe we should give the deep tide the city and kill the silverfish.
I agree with that. I agree with that as an idea. My only question is, Luce, knowing them, do you think we should go there and talk to them about it first before we do that? Or do you think we should just take the matter into our own hands first and let it work out afterwards? Because I feel like having them in the know about what is about to happen might make things pan out a little better in the end.
I might be able to answer that. Feather?
Yes?
My lovely, lovely coral reef. Can you tell when someone's brain's been scrambled by magic?
Not currently, but if you give me an hour, I can.
That's good, at least, because, and Luce will point to Maleth. Maleth, along with other people from the Deep Tide, were sent to go investigate something, and their brains got scrambled. Maleth? Oh, my dear, very wonderful fighter friend, does not remember the last time he saw his cohorts, who were probably also brain scrambled, in my theory. Maybe I'm biased because I don't like magic like that, but so part of me also wanted to go to talk to the Deep Tide before we involve them in anything is trying to see who's had their brain scrambled by most likely the rot touch.
Okay. So, while I don't know if every part of this is settled, I think it is safe to say talking to the Deep Tide first is settled.
Yeah.
I think that's a safe bet. Ariel, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. I'd also just like to put forward something about the whole killing of the silverfish. if we do go with that Reaver's plan and just kill all of them and put the deep tide in, my fear is that other syndicates and other organizations are going to see that power vacuum suddenly taken over as they just took it over. There must be weak from the fighting. We can go take care of them ourselves and take over that, which puts Luce's Deep Tide and friends in very, very potential danger.
I never said kill all of them. I said I kill the silverfish and give Maleth the head.
I'm just saying, if we have two syndicates at each other's throats, others are going to see that, and others are going to try to take advantage of that. Maybe
But-
if we could broker a peace, at least try to get them working together, they'd be stronger for it. And Maleth and the rest of the Deep Tide would thrive. It's just a suggestion.
Raver, I think I can get you a 1-1 with the silverfish.
Am I expected to leave them alive afterwards?
What you do with them is your prerogative, my friend.
That is a group question. There'll be like an acknowledgement nod, like with comfort to Euless, but like I'm still having to at least hear other people's opinions. I absolutely just because Ariel is
Luce is
against.
just gonna- Luce is just gonna pull out the key that we pulled off of the body in Cephalopore Tower. She's been keeping close to her chest, quite literally.
Okay.
Well, that definitely gets his attention.
My head is gonna just rotate to Echo and simply say, "What's wrong?"
Not wrong. Echo's memory has been jogged. Has been the name Silverfish is familiar. Echo has done jobs for them before. And the silverfish was one of the first that Echo can remember who bought those that were like me but who failed.
Did they hurt you, Echo? When you did these jobs?
Echo remembers locations for the jobs. Echo, as far as I can currently remember, does not remember these jobs being different from the others they did, but Echo did a wide range of jobs, and Echo does not remember.
Okay. Captain, what is your
Yes.
consensus? We have 3 points of suggestion now. Well, one with more reinforcement, I guess, to a degree would be considered. My plan involves killing them. Ariel wishes to unite them. Ariel and I will not see eye to eye on this, I'm sure. That is fine.
I
Sorry, there was only one thing I was going to add to that.
Oh, go ahead.
I will hear the votes. There is only one exception to my rule. Or request. If the silverfish can use the control collars on Echo, I'm killing them.
I will not make an argument against that.
That with my argument, I'll also not make an argument on that. If that happened, death.
Celia will speak up at that point and say, I can guarantee you right now, if they try to put any form of collar around anybody, I will kill them. I will destroy them. I will drain every fathom of life from their body and willingly use it to kill everybody they hold dear.
I'm gonna just. I would like to insight check Celia real quick. Just continue.
So, with all that being said, I put it to a vote. Who wants to go to the deep tide in hopes of uniting organizations? And who wants to go into the deep tide in hopes of essentially doing an assassination?
All those for unite, raise your hand.
Feather will put his hand up, but, under the knowledge caveat that,
Yeah.
I'm all for uniting until they start being dicks, at which point I'm all for killing.
All for murder. It seems like there are several people deeply undecided.
If those are the only two options, I'll just abstain from that because I need to make sure that the deep tide isn't influenced by the rot touch first. The deep tide's still intact before. They could be just as scattered as anybody if their organization structure got fucked with.
So, okay. I think the best thing to do then is to go forward to see where the deep tide are, and we will then we will redo the vote once we have gathered that information. Is everyone all right with that?
Aye, Captain.
Aye, Captain.
Fine
All
by
right.
me.
Aye by me.
Echo?
Echo's gonna go where people go.
And we are happy for it. Now, we should get our stuff together and move out. Probably sooner rather than later before something comes looking for a body that we left behind.
After we sleep, right?
Yes, after we sleep.
Making sure. Because you need to sleep and like actually decompress and like just be a person as well.
We have 3 dead things that can watch. You're safe.
Get some rest, Captain.
Atalan will actively say, let you know, I'd be more than happy to stay awake and ensure none of you are harmed.
Alan, buddy, I got bad news for you. We don't ever fucking sleep.
That is exceptionally distressing to hear. Sleep is vital in order to maintain strong adventuring capabilities. I should know, I was an adventurer for a long time.
Get comfy, do something simple, fuse your bones back together if there's injured. I'll show you.
Sorry, have you been a Rickborn for longer than I have?
No.
Yes and no. Drift, no. You, yes.
But I have all of Drift's memories and capabilities.
Then how do you know we don't sleep?
Because Drift has been going still for long periods of time, which basically is kind of maybe like sleeping. But because Adelan's Adelan.
I was once an elf. We don't sleep.
There you go.
I view them as the same thing.
For anyone, because again, Feather can happily with the 10 and it's not having there's a very furrowed, concerned look on the idea of sleeping again, but not having control of it. Now knowing that Drift's like staying still is sleeping is like, oh, that's defensivelessness.
It's more like he's saying that he views the time where he stops as being similar to elven trancing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's meaning.
Okay.
But yeah, he Atalan will offer his services. Of course, Celia is going to be Luce's pillow, so he's going to be awake. And then of course you have Reaver. So I don't think we need to do watch parties. I think and of course, sorry, I did forget as well. We have Echo on there 15 minutes from every hour cycle. So, I believe that we have everything covered in order to do a long rest successfully. So if I'm correct, the decision is to go to the Deep Tide and see what their opinion is on whether to kill and eradicate the silverfish or get out.
If they're all not fine.
Yeah.
If they are all not mind warped and being manipulated. Okay, then in that case, with that being decided and the party settling for a long rest, is there anything you guys would like to do quickly before we wrap for today's session?
This is going to point to Reaver and point to Adelan and just say, you two, whenever we have a moment, I'm going to dance with both of you. Not at the same time. That's too much work. You guys are much bigger than me, but we're going to test something out. Eventually. That's
Okay.
she's gonna-
I'll need your carving tools at some point again.
Always.
Okay. Nothing from any of the other party members?
Luce will... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Then
ran to the bathroom. What are we doing?
Anything you want to do before we wrap up the session? Anything quick?
Yes. Real quick, Ariel's just gonna go off in a good 50 feet away from the group for like an hour before bed, and is gonna take the not the rapier they got from Malith, the other one that was given in that was given to them, and is going to spend the hour concentrating on it, and concentrating it, wrapping it in the magic of their pact, and is going to shift that into being their new pact weapon. And
Okay.
I am officially going Pact of the Blade.
Love it. We now have an official Pact of the Blade being done. And as you weave this, binding it to you, I'm going to come back to that, but at the end, okay? Is anybody else got anything they want to do?
Real quick overview thing. Depending on how it goes, it's just Echo is going to ask if Reaver can do that thing with the sight again.
Yeah.
And what that is essentially going to be, and what Echo is going to use a lot of their time for, is showing Reaver different things that they find interesting in their particular sight form. And so some of that includes parts of Reaver.
Yeah.
That they find particularly interesting, or parts of like others. So yeah, that's what they're spending a lot of their time doing.
I love how that's the Echo equivalent of, do you want to see my Pokemon card collection?
The best.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Also, I feel like Luce is cuddling with Feather, and then Marisol is just kind of cuddling with Luce on the end. Like,
Oh, no,
like it's a pile.
I have a thing for this, bestie.
Oh, do
If you
tell.
If you will allow.
Go right ahead.
All I needed was that. All right, cool.
Is this where the people get what they want?
No, we have to be at an inn for that.
There was only one bed.
Hey, listen. Basically, what Luce is going to do is one, drag Feather, who is coming willingly.
He's being dragged by Luce. He's always going willingly.
Listen, I gotta check. And she is going to also drag Feather to a spot where there's Adelan in radius, and then she is going to basically tell Feather, it's like, you should get comfy here, and then is going to go get Marisol and just kind of swim up and just kind of look at her and be like, do you want to lay together for rest?
Yes, please.
All right, and not even waiting, she is going to pick up Marisol, just bridal style carry, swim back over to Feather and Adelan, and Luce is going to situate herself so that she is basically, once again, leaning up against Adelan, with Marisol basically cradled in her lap, and supporting Marisol with her, like, up against her. And then she is going to pull Feather in, and pull Feather in at her side. And she's going to lay her head on Feather's shoulder, to where half of her tentacles are basically draped over Feather's shoulder as per usual. And then the other half are wrapped around Adelan's leg again. And she is basically just going to ask Marisol, it's like, does history put you to sleep? Just like stories put you to sleep?
They do, yes.
She's going to hand over all of the notes that she took during the Adelan Elven lore lecture to Feather, and basically just say, all right, you did the thing where you talked about something I didn't quite understand, but I've already heard this one, but I want to hear the extra stuff. So you two, like, if you want to, can talk about it while we are going to be lulled to sleep by storytelling.
Feather will take it, and he will not... He doesn't have the heart to tell you that he knows this off by heart because he was raised in a Winter Elven place, so he knows all of Elven history. He will just look at Marisol and be like, get comfortable. I have another shoulder, or you can put your head in my lap if you want. There's a whole rigmarole of places.
I think Marisol will kind of do the thing where, like, she's curled up, like, her tail is over Feather's lap, but her head is, like, in Luce's lap. Just like, I didn't think being captain would come with this kind of luxury.
They made the jokes. They made the jokes. But the thruple's gonna happen. It's fucking it's evolving before our eyes. It's not a joke anymore. It's actively happening.
Not a joke.
Oh, thank God, it's a throuple and not a harem anymore.
Give it time.
It's getting concentrated.
It's
Give it time. It's gonna happen.
It's going to get to a point where it's like Luce is going to go, hey, so Feather, me and Marisol together, cool. You and Marisol are together, cool. And me and you are together, okay, cool. Is that it? Like, is there anything else? Is there more? Where was I? Right, okay, cool. So, if I'm correct in what you said there, Marisol, head in Luce's lap, tail going over into Feather's lap. So you've got Atlan there, Feather and Luce basically making the top of the triangle, and you make the bottom. Oh my god, they've made the Deathly Hallows symbol out of D&D characters. It's like the ultimate crossover. Right, cool, awesome. And
but
Feather,
make it gay.
But make it gay. Because it will piss J.K. Rowling off.
Correct.
Right, okay, so yeah, then he just starts talking about Elven history and starts talking about, like, oh, and there was this great and powerful sorcerer from Winter who blah, 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 yak it, yak, all that kind of jazz. And apparently this guy had an axe that he could throw, and if he put his hand out, it just came back. Blah, 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 yak it, yak it. She had a hammer, and the top of it was just a raw diamond still encased in rock. Blah, 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 yak it, yak. Lifted her like a princess, but she was 3.5 foot tall. Blah, 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 yak it, yak, schmack it, schmoo. She once shouted at a hag so much that the hag's head blew up. Blah, 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 yak it, yak. So they killed the wood elf, and his girlfriend in retaliation snapped her pearl necklace and fireballed them all to death. That actually happened in the campaign, by the way, guys. Blah, 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 yak it, yak. And eventually that goes on to leading you guys into your long rest. Is there anything else that anybody would like to do before we settle into that long rest? Okay, then in that case, that is where we are going to wrap for today's session, guys. Thank you very much to my players. There was a lot of lore-heavy things in this session, so if you guys have got any questions, I'll be hanging around after chat, after we wrap. What's up, Ariel?
I was just saying, you said you were coming back to.
Yes, I know. I'm going to get to that.
Oh.
I am going to give you an after credits scene.
Oh.
Terrifying.
I'm gonna shut my mouth.
Ariel, as you're sitting focusing and honing on this blade, there's a faint wee whisper slithers in the back of your mind, and you pay no attention to it. You continue on with that hour-long ritual of binding this blade to your magic, and every now and again it's like a little slithering whisper, like a behind the back of your mind, and then as the blade is bound to you, you feel that stirring for where you had that specimen. You feel a kind of almost like a psychic nudge from there. And it's not so much a word. It's not a feeling. It's more of a suggestion. Again, it's not like it's trying to manipulate you. It's literally just a suggestion. And all it is suggesting that you should open the jar and let it speak. But I don't want your answer just now. I want that at the beginning of next session. Thank you very much for coming to see us today, guys. If you like what you've seen here today, go and check out our social medias. We've got lots of them, all of them at World Tree Quests. We also have a new campaign starting on May the 19th. You should definitely come and see it. Pay attention to the social medias tomorrow. You'll be able to see the players that are playing in it. They're a fantastic bunch. I have a feeling shenanigans are going to be at the table. But anyway, other than that, you can go and check out my stuff. I am Son of Asgard on TikTok. I'm going to be starting a new series on TikTok fairly soon called the Blood Hunter Chronicles, which is going to be bringing back my good old Blood Hunter boy and doing new little episodes and sessions with him. Other than that, yeah, that's me. If you find any of my other social medias, no you didn't. My mother is an Irish woman and she will in fact kill me with some kind of potato-based projectile. So I'm going to pass on over to Kyle. Anything that you want to plug at all?
Not this week.
Not this week.
I just
Fantastic.
want to plug them lot and this one and all the amazing people.
Fantastic. Moving on to Selkie. Anything that you would like to plug at all, Selkie?
I would usually go through my whole spiel, but you can find me Mondays, occasional Wednesdays, and every other Friday on Internet Game. You can find me every Saturday on my Twitch, Selkie Cove, and then you can find me here on Thursdays. So
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Selkie. What about yourself, Danny? Anything you would like to plug at all?
Hi, I'm Denver and I got a kiss on the head. You can find me on TikTok at Lawless Aries Cosplay. I'm planning on making a comeback video soon where I explain why I haven't been on TikTok for a couple of months. And you can also find my lovely jewelry at Magpie Finds on Instagram and Etsy. I got stuff like this and stuff like these. I'm going to be at Delmarva Pride on June 1st selling some Pride stuff that I've made. I'm also going to be at Delaware Pagan Pride on June 30th selling stuff that I've made if you guys are in the area and would like to participate in that. Otherwise, nothing else new.
Alrighty, nothing new, but plenty of things that are old for Denny, so you should definitely go and check them out and support them in any way you can. We're going to move on swiftly to Tom. Anything that you would like to plug at all, Tom?
Hi, I'm That One Warlock. I make the saddest characters you've ever seen on the internet. You can find me on all of the social medias at That One Warlock. If you like seeing me play the lovable underwater twink, you can find me all throughout the week in various different actual plays. On Monday, you can find me with the ever so radiant Madness Diamond over on the Starfield in a game of Werewolf the Apocalypse, where I play the Theurge Glasswalker Travis Malcolms, who has just a little spider friend just chilling in his phone. On Tuesdays, you can find me on Game Raider Girls Twitch channel playing as Backer Jostrums, the Circle of the Moon Druid, who wild shapes exclusively into dinosaurs. And then on Wednesday, you can find me on the Dyson Autism's Twitch channel for the last time before our break. We just defeated the... oh, God, what's the word? This arc's BBEG, and we're gonna see what the ramifications of that are. But you can see me playing as everyone's favorite werewolf Dilf, Connor Hutchison, the Blood Hunter Barbarian, who's just a trying. And then you can find me, of course, here every Thursday with all these lovely, lovely, and talented people.
Fantastic, thank you very much for that, Tom. And moving on, lastly, and certainly not leastly, to Diamond. Anything you'd like to plug at all, Diamond?
Oh yeah, I'm Madness Diamond. Since we're friends now, you can call me Diamond. You can find my entire actual play schedule and what I'm usually up to on my Beacons link, beacons.ai/Madness Diamond. But I'm Madness Diamond on most social media places. Unless you're looking for my TikTok, I am Madness Diamond 2.0 over there. But Mondays, you can find me over on Starfield playing Squire, the Ragabash Silverfang, on Guardians of Neptune's Cairn. On Tuesdays, you can find me over on Dinner and a Game with our lovely Selkie Cove, playing Emerald Sanctums, where I play Bay, the very human hunter, and Selkie plays Fia, a Makole pirate. And then on Thursdays, you can find me here playing Melusine Vestra, your lovely Battlemaster fighter. And you're going to see me a little bit popping up in certain places over the next month because I'm doing a couple different charity and fundraising events. One of those being with Pride Revolution. Pride Revolution is going to start next week, but I'm not in any of the games until next month. But basically, we are raising money for the Trans Empowerment Project to donate it to charity for a very wonderful cause for Pride. But I will post more about that on my socials, so go follow me there if you would like. And check out my wholesome chaos all across the interwebs.
Definitely do that. Thank you very much, Diamond. Well, if that's it from my players, and that's it from me, then that's it from us. I've been your DM of Doom, Son of Asgard on World Tree Quest here on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. And with me today with my lovely cast, we've had Just Kyle, we've had Selkie Cove, we've had LOL Series Cosplay, we have had That One Warlock, and we've had Madness Diamond 2.0. From all of us here at World Tree Quest, good night, stay safe, talk to the voices in your head, it's rude to ignore people, and also do not pull a finny. Good night, folks. Good, lovely night.
Eee.